Good morning. This is Black Calm Warning, and it is January 10th, 2015, and it's now 7:45 in the morning. And yes, as my voice you could probably tell, I'm just getting up, just waking up, I should say. Yeah, I've been awake now for like 20 minutes. I'm just lying here in bed. I had a bizarre dream, and I'm trying to tie in what the dream symbolizes. I was back in college. I since then graduated. This was my undergraduate school. And I had to take science classes, chemistry, organic chemistry. And I was back in the classroom up front in the chemistry lab. I'm sorry, not the lab, lecture, but it was one of the smaller rooms, not the big lecture halls. It was a very old room, and the professor's talking, and I'm up front by the sink. And when I turn one of the knobs to regulate the water, it shoots up towards the ceiling. But it didn't go past, I think it was like a shield, a transparent shield, so nothing would splash on the students. So I didn't feel that alarmed. I mean, I was alarmed, but it didn't go past a certain point. So I thought, okay, let me turn this down. So I turned the knob in the opposite direction. That goes down, but then another thing shoots up in the other direction, a stream of water. So I'm here trying to regulate, if I turn it one way, this happens, and then but when I turn it the opposite, something else happens. And this time the water really shoots out, and I think someone got wet or something. And the professor says something, and he has to leave the room to try to get something to clean it up. And I started to feel like awkward, like I had a scarf on my head, and this plastic, actually in real life, this plastic thing is a cutting board. Those ultra thin plastic cutting boards, for the kitchen, that you can bend and fold and pour the contents of what you cut in the pot, where you're cooking. That actually was on my head. And then a scarf was to hold it down in place. And it was was slipping off my head and covering my eyes. And I was having a hard time, putting myself together, getting the thing put on right. And I didn't have a mirror to look into to see what's happened, to try to tie it down. But at times, in real life, when I'm sleeping, I, even now, I have something over my head, and it slides off my face and into my eyes a lot of times when I'm sleeping. So that could have been what was influencing it. And then I also had this skirt on, this long, full-length black skirt that had a split on the side. And this thing was opening, exposing too much of my legs, and I just was feeling very self-conscious, and I was trying to, get myself neat, The next thing I remember, I was in an auditorium. It was an old auditorium, and I'm sitting with my other classmates. This is still in a college. And it was packed with students, and, we were all talking. And I had a bag, a black bag with, I'm not sure whether it was a newspaper article that I was looking for. I don't remember a lot of the details, but it was something in the bag. And I said, oh, I'm not sure whether this is my bag. It was on the floor, under the seat. And I said, well, I'm not sure, I said it loud, I'm not sure whether this is my bag and we have to get the stuff, the article or something. So I carefully opened the bag in front of, everybody to see. I didn't pick up the bag. I just unzipped it, opened it, and we could look in the contents. And I said to myself, I'm not sure whether this is my bag, whether this stuff. So I went and I thumbed through it, it's to see if anything I recognized being mine. And then to my right, a young woman, she was of East Indian descent, a dark-skinned woman, and she's looking like, what are you doing? I said, oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't sure whether this was my bag, I should say, I wasn't trying to steal, take anything from you, but I'm trying to look for my bag. And the next thing I remember, I'm looking under the chairs for my bag, and then I remember leaving the auditorium and walking down some hallway, and I'm feeling lost. And then I get into this one hallway where I've never been before, been at, and I said, oh, this is where they do upholstery and things like that. I thought, no, I know I don't belong here. The next thing I remember, so then I walk in the opposite direction, and the next thing you know, I'm in the lobby, and I see a security, the person at the desk, part of security. I said, where's the auditorium? And he points, it's right in front of you. So, it was to my left. I said, okay. I go in, and then I see a staff, a man, an older man. I said, I think I left my handbag in here. And there was a cleanup crew. And he had a large sack or something with, when people might leave stuff or garbage, it all goes in this this bag of something, this heavy-duty bag. So I go to that person. I said, oh, I think I left my handbag or something. I think I started to again look under the ground, under the chairs. The next thing I remember in the auditorium, it was like somebody on stage. It had now at this time it had people, people in the auditorium, in the chairs and about. And then there was a fight, a fist fight. 2 black women fighting. They were slim, and they were in their 40s. They were grown women, and one of them attacks the other, and they both fall on the ground, one on top of the other, and they're really fighting. And I was scared at this point. And then the one on top bites off the nipple of the other and spits it out, and really, and I was so disturbed by it. And I exit the auditorium. I was very frightened. And I think that's when I woke up. And I started trying to analyze the dream. I was thinking that possibly, the initial thing with the water in the chemistry lab, that sometimes it's when you do one thing, you think it's going to work, and then something else happens. It's shot up from the opposite direction, and then when you try to work on that. And that's kind of what I feel what happened to me in my undergraduate studies. Well, actually, my graduate studies, that I thought by doing one thing would alleviate a problem, but it like in real life with my graduate studies, that the like I was a nutrition major for my master's. That I did graduate, and the last year of my studies, that the requirement changed, and the industry changed, and they make it so that now you need a particular credential for it, and to get that credential I'm no longer qualified for. So I feel like all that training and schooling, so I think that's where that dream comes from, that you do one thing, you're trying to juggle, and no matter what you do, it didn't work. That's the impression that I got from it. And then with the women, and again, they were black women fighting. And I feel that as black people, we fight each other. We're fighting ourselves, whether we're fighting for a boyfriend or a job thing. You took mine, I take yours. We're fighting each other. And we shouldn't be fighting each other. Then I started thinking about, I did this, this is also for my college, my graduate studies. We had, for my major, we had to do, they call it an internship. We had to do like 19 hours, like a week, work a week at a health facility, their kitchen. We had to, do the plating, the supplies, every aspect of the food-related portion of the health facility, and then do a detailed paper about it. And this was my experience. Okay, the head was a white woman. She was very nice, very fair. And then all the staff under her were blacks and Hispanics, and one African. And what I noticed in the staff, okay, most of the people were Hispanic and male. Yeah, all the Hispanics were, no, all but one were males, and the woman was actually like the supervisor of the staff. She had her RD license, I think. And the other people were the people who actually prepared the food. These were all men, Hispanic men, except, let's see, one of the men was from Jamaica, and then the only lady in the people who actually handled the food, the cooking, she was a female from either Trinidad or Guyana. And she was of East Indian origin, ancestry. And the black guy is from Jamaica, if I didn't say. And all the others were Spanish speaking. And they were like from the Caribbean, like Puerto Rico. I think one was from Cuba. And the other, who they would say is a black Latino, he is from Central America. And what I noticed, and again, it's not to put down or to say someone is better than another, but it was just something that I noticed. the two English-speaking people of the cooking crew from Jamaica, the man from Jamaica and the woman from either Guyana or Trinidad, they, they were very aggressive in their speech, angry. The man was keep on talk about his rights, go, and no one is arguing with him, no one is talking with him, they all are working. But he's the only one that's actually yelling and talking about rights and this and that. And I didn't understand why he was, other than that, the environment was very relaxing and calm. But I didn't understand why, his attitude. And it's very bitter. And the girl was the same way. Very angry and the system, this and that. Very bitter. It was just so different than the others. And then the other ones, like the black Hispanic from Central America, he's very peaceful, very kind-hearted, just a pleasant. Because I had to work with each of these people. That was part of the assignment. I had to work with each of the different staff people there in the cooking team. And I noticed also that the Spanish-speaking people of the cooking staff, that they all got along. And even though they were from maybe different islands or regions in the Spanish-speaking world in the Americas, it was a very, they worked together, and they were very, it was just nice, The guy from Cuba, he was a little edgy, but overall, at least to each other, they're very, they worked as a team. And that's what I notice now in the city where we live. The English-speaking blacks or West Indians, in my experience, we don't seem to work well with each other. That it's a lot of static and edginess and my right, just a lot of screaming, and they're not working as a team. But the new immigrants, or people from Puerto Rico is part of the U.S., they work very well together, and they work as a team. And it's not a lot of screaming, I'm impressed that they're able to work as a team, So my point with this dream, like when I'm analyzing, from the dream and my physical environment, is that if black people need to work as a team, and that fighting each other is not the answer. If we don't get our act together, we're going to be supplanted by new groups. They're going to get into positions of management or supervisory work, and they're going to be supervising or managing you. And you may not want that. It's just something that I noticed. And I just felt, for the community at large, that you need to get your act together. I know as a people, we have a lot against us from day one, that the people who rule over our nation, over the country, they do not want us to succeed, and they put obstacles in the way that's designed to cause strife. The things in the media, that they're always showing negative things about blacks or English-speaking blacks in the media to make us look bad, to make us mistrust one another, to cause fighting and gang war and things like that. And that's what they want us to do. They want us to kill each other. Just like in the dream, the two black women actually on the ground, kicking, just, gnawing each other, biting each other's bodies. I was so horrified. And the whole world could see, just like everyone in the auditorium could see these women, And I think they might have been women who were to speak to the audience, I think. And it just got out of hand. We have to get our lives together. We have to stop fighting. That's the point of this video. Not to say one group is better than the other. I say this as an alarm. And just as my channel name means, to warn the black community. We have to address our issues in a calm and organized manner. So this is all that I have to say to you guys. And again, this video is not to offend anyone, but just to let us become aware how we might be looking like, how we are being viewed by others. So peace and joy to you all.